right back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video, and this one is another deck profile. I just did one for peel off for Christmas, and I was just like, you know what, let's just do a few more. Another one is this one. This is a deck that I placed first place. I'm at locals, went 4-0, played against Hercule, Gogeta, Leader, Pan, and Ultimate Box Vegeta. Shout out to Devon. Yeah, I told you I was gonna save it, but I really wanted to get this one out there so that way, well, one, I'm gonna dismantle the deck pretty soon, and the other thing is that I wanted to get this out before January, and as well as Clash of Fates slash the feature rare Goku and all that other stuff that is gonna shut down a lot of 1 to 2 drop type decks, and this is definitely one of them. And yes, there are better leaders out there, but Trunks is definitely one of my favorite leaders now, just to kind of go back and have fun on, and just kind of go ham whenever you need to, whenever possible. And with all the tools that are coming out, it's gonna make his life a little bit harder, especially all these other, like I said, blue red aggro, blue leaders, and it just becomes annoying. Shout out to Joel. He is the best Trunks player that I know. Shout out to Joel. He is definitely one of the best Trunks players that I know of, and he's one of the reasons why I like the leader. So let's kind of go into the deck. If you didn't know already, Trunks, you kind of already see him with Storm beforehand with the legendary flute business. He kind of he was really good in that era with, you know, red, blue, and as well as the 4 legendary flutes. But now you kind of see him with Storm, with all the top decks, the people who kind of swear by him. I personally like him for a Storm option, but again, yes, I know Herdigon is a little bit better. But if Herdigon did exist, which he didn't, you know, preset for, this man would be doing work every single day. His auto is that once per turn, when you combo with something that has 2 or more energy costs, you draw 1 card. So you have to combo. If you get negated, that's one of the drawbacks for this deck. Yeah, no, your life is 4 or less, you may draw 2 instead of flip 2 to act. But this can be really, really good, especially on an awakening aggressive turn, and I'll explain that a little bit later if you're not familiar. Also, a few caveats or a few things before I keep going. One, if you didn't already sign up for the Untap free tournaments, is a free entry. It is self-scheduled. You don't have to be there at one point. It's been working out so far. You're playing for a gift box, is all single elimination, so should be quick. Go sign up in the description, go join the Discord, subscribe if you're new, you know the drill. Anyway, his awakened side is literally the same thing. There you go. Since this is a red-blue deck, let's start with the red. So of course we're going to start with the 4 intensifying power Trunks and the Kabas. So we have a 4-3 split. So the reason for this is that intensifying power Trunks is really detrimental for the Xeno play whenever you need it. So you need 4 in the deck, and 4 Kaba isn't that bad of an idea either. I used to run 4, and I used to run 3-2 of Digging Deep Vegeta, but then I was like, I don't really need it. And it wasn't that big of a deal. You just have to play differently for them to attack if they have Crush's Crusher, which I will kind of explain a little bit how to get around that. Well, there's really 1 or 2 other ways to get around that. And overall, these 2 are kind of your main awakening methods, and as well as being very aggressive early on. These are kind of the bread and butter for you. Same thing for Champa. I think people are kind of really underrating the fact that we can get double strike at any time, and that's not only in Storm, but just in aggro in general. So like, even if you're not playing aggro, the access to 10k and double strike is still really good. Like, we have to protect our life, and yes, you are gonna get some cards, but you choosing to have them take life at any time is really good. And one of the things that people always tend to do for some reason is to tap out turn 1 against Trunks, and I'm like, don't do that. Like, that's not that one draw was not needed. Like, that was not, you didn't need to do that. So a lot of the time is that you can play intensifying power Trunks, attack with the Trunks, the 1-drop Trunks, take a life, unyielding, and then Champa right after, and then you're going for 30,000 double strike turn 1, turn 2, and most of the time they can't defend it, they're just gonna take it. Or the other time is that you play 1 energy, you attack with Trunks, the leader, and the attack, or you combo with Champa. They have to take a 20,000 double strike and you get the draw, or they combo out and waste those many cards. So that type of the mindset you kind of have to get into when just playing aggro. Anyway, aggro has its faults. Trunks sucks ass at defense. Bodyguard Legic helps for that, being a free blocker if they have something on their their side. And since we're here, go ahead and put in the chain attack Trunks. This is for the Zeno play and kind of really evolves around just playing Zeno whenever you need to, or pre-awaken, and I'll kind of explain that as well. Unbreakable is just so good. You kind of want one of these in your beginning of turns, not only for defense, because this is one of the only ways to defend as Trunks, other than super combo, sensu bean, and maybe a couple of negates and bodyguard logic, but also on the offense is a guaranteed draw 2 for 1 energy. So you draw for this guy, you draw for the Trunks auto, and then you just keep going. And one of the best, if not the best, red card, battle card that is in the game, still foreseeing him. Yes, he is getting a little less play in the meta that we're in right now, but when you do get the 4 energy and you still have some unyielding spirit Trunks, or it's after Zeno, whatever it is, and you're putting them to so much damage beforehand, before the foreseeing hit, before everything else, you reset the board, you play a foreseeing hit, you make them neg the 2 battle cards, you attack with leader, you draw 2 because you're going to be drawing 2 most likely, and then you just kind of go for game from there. It's just kind of pure value and as well as advantage. You just kind of have to plan out what you need to do after the foreseeing hit. And finally, the thing that will help you with a lot of different matchups, and this is going to be the main board not only for dedicated red energy, but also it also just helps with maintaining hand advantage. And the thing that I kind of mean by that is that every single time that you use Planet M2 against their leader, they have to waste a card. Like, they almost always have to waste a card. Sometimes it's going to be a 10k, sometimes it's going to be a 5k, but you attacking like Unawakened to Unawakened 10k to 5k, you're either guaranteed a life or guaranteed for them to waste cards. And in this game, the attacker always wins. Like, as long as you have the balanced power costs, or you get up to that cost, the attacker always wins. And that's something that, you know, again, as you play aggro, as you play this deck, you have to keep that in mind. Now the other use is just to keep 5Ks off the board as combo power, and as well as for them to not to see it in their deck afterwards, and as well as Crisis Crusher. Crisis Crusher is a 5K 3 costs when you can play it for 1, but this automatically gets rid of that, so that way you can play your combos and as well as your intensifying power Trunks, or at the very least attack with them. The only other thing that's kind of a detriment to this going to Clash of Fates with the FR Goku is that there's not really a big way to actually get rid of him with any of the cards I'm going to be showing you here, other than Zeno, and that's kind of really annoying. You have to rely on your bodyguard logic, your hits, your leader, etc. It's very annoying. Anyway, that's it for the red. Let's get to the blue. First one's obviously going to be the Zeno. Zeno, of course, is still hugely it's just a huge thing. And as we go into the next set and beyond, we're going to get more stuff for Shenron. Not only the 3-drop Purunga, but also the Shenron Desires that clear the board and basically Zeno their hand. And I think this pretty much won me every single game. Like, if every game that I Zeno'd, I won. Well, actually, you know what, the pan player, shout out to Miko, we didn't actually neither of us is Zeno'd, so I still won that one. It was a really close match. Hindsight, I probably should have Zeno'd. Anyway, when expecting red blue, you should expect the chain attack Zeno, and this deck definitely revolves around it. So what happens is that for Trunks, you basically play the intensifying power Trunks, you let them attack, you attack with him, you have multiple in either hand or deck or whatever. If you only have one, then you don't play him, you don't risk him getting attacked, you play the Kabas instead, or you play some Overwhelm instead, and you attack as much as possible for them to take as much damage as you can. Then, when you plan it out, either you have 5 health, or 5 life that is, on your turn, and you attack with Intensifying Power Trunks, take a life. Yes, that will be gone after you Zeno, but it's not that big of a deal. But then after that, you have 2 red energy, 1 blue, generally is where you want to be. Turn 3 or 3 energy, you use the 2 red, Zeno, and then you attack with leader, combo with something, draw 1, awaken, draw 2, and then combo again, and then draw again. Or you can awaken, draw 2, attack, draw, and then combo and draw again. And of course, with the Unbreakable, you're going to be drawing quite a lot. So you kind of have to plan out and really keep an idea of what's in your deck and what's not. But that's really the biggest thing when it comes to this leader in red blue. You probably already know this if you saw other like red blue Trunks decks, but it's even more important now in order to get that hand advantage and do as much damage as you can with all these other things like Crush's Crusher and other things that kind of stop this method and strategy. But we do play him at 2, so there you go. Having such low cost battle cards, we do have a flute. There you go. That's nice. It is worth it. It is. It has won me games just having them in there and just returning and attacking again. So there you go. We have 4 Sensu. There's no introduction for this guy. This card. It's gonna be in every blue deck. If you're not playing it, then there must be something better than this, and there's not very much better than this. To untap an energy and gain 5k for the turn for defense and offense. Of course, we have the unyielding Trunks. So 4 of them. He's a 2 cost. You draw him on every single turn or every single time. Other than the 1 cost, there's really nothing in here that you can combo with that you won't draw on. So just keep that in mind. And you might be wondering what super combo we're playing with, and that's going to be the Powers Combined Kabuto Kai. That one being at 3, and then 1 North Kai Keeping Watch. So this one is the 10k combo with 4 or less. Now you might be asking, why are you playing 3 of them instead of 4, or 4 of the North Kai instead? And that's because this man will draw you 2 cards every single time that it can. And this is something I always have to bring up, that the ruling in itself, since there are 3 different effects on this in which you can use basically. So the first effect is a super combo. It's a 4 or less and he gains 10k. So if you're not 4 or less, you still continue to do the rest of the effect. So you can choose one and return it to their hand, like a Jacko, ultimate combo Jacko, which I like personally, because then you can still go ahead and Zeno and make sure that bad boy is back into the deck. The other thing is that if there are no cards in the combo area, it does not matter what turn it is, you draw one. And so on the offense, he is a 2 cost pseudo combo, super combo, in which if they don't combo anything, which most of the time they won't because you're attacking, then you go ahead and draw 1 card for this card, and you draw 1 on the Trunks auto, no matter what you're going to be attacking. And that's another thing to keep in mind of. Doesn't have to be the leader. You can go ahead and use it on any card and then draw. I love it. I like to draw 2 whenever I want to. That's why I play them. You wouldn't have too much of an issue playing North Kai. It's still a 10k combo in which you draw on the offensive side, so no big deal. Now the the reason for the title itself is because of this card. This card has won my hearts over and over because of the surprise effect that it kind of comes out to. Now, I kind of want to reiterate that you can play every single Janemba card in the game except for the 4-drop and 5-drop. That is in a different deck. So you can play this, you can play this, you can play this, you can play this, and then these 2 to get the main effects, and really just to have them out. You have to play the Janemba leader. And this one, you still technically, you can go ahead and just warp the bad boy and then warp one of their cards. So that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is that a 20k critical deflector for 1 energy after a Zeno is stupid good. And better yet, that you can go ahead and mill them for the extra effect. And he does come back to your deck, and you can just kind of keep doing that whenever you do see him. Not to mention, I will say, like, if you're playing mono blue and you're considering some removal options, just throw in a Demon Sword Janemba. The man is a critical deflect 20k that you can attack with critical and then warp something and then make them mill too. You can play that in any deck. Like, this is a PSA. Just kind of consider that when trying to build mono blue, or if you want to add something a little bit different to your deck. I've even played Beerus Mill, and it's not that bad. Like, control Beerus Mill, not that bad. Like, believe it or not. Anyway, with him and 3 Champas in hand, or at least in deck that is, it's a pretty damn good combo. So that kind of leaves us to the black cards and the black package. We have 2 Time Patrol Trunks. He looks at top 2 for overwhelm 3, and you choose one of them and you place it at the top or the bottom of the deck in either order. So the reason why I play him over the whatchamacallit, the Supreme Kai, Cronoa, basically, time control. So the reason why I play her or him over her is because I want to see the flute, I want to see the Senzu Bean, I want to see something I did not put in there, which is Dimension Magic. I have 2 of them. Trunks decks usually don't have too many. If you're going aggro anyway, don't have too many counters. I only have 2. I used to run at 3. If you can fit 1 more in there, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But you have access to all of those things, and not only that, just theoretically cycle through your deck. Because now you can take one from your hand and place it at the top or bottom, so if you're going to be attacking with him and then comboing something right after, you will get theoretically 2 cards right after that, or as you play this card anyway. So you'll play him, you look at the top 2, you place one on the top, you attack with him, combo with something 2 or more, like unyielding or something, and then draw whatever you to put on top. And then if you don't like that, then you put it at the bottom, and you just draw. So you can kind of get that idea. Then we have the one-of. So we have 1 Mass Saiyan, and then 1 Dimension Banisher Fu. This is for immediate removal. There's a huge difference between both of these guys. Both of them will draw you 1 on the offense, and both of them do have 20k double strike. But 1 has a 1k combo for 1, so 10k 1 cost combo, and that could be good or bad depending on your situation. And the other one, if you just want to draw, you can just go in and combo. And if not, both of them are very good at what they do. For 5 Overwhelm and 1 Energy, it's really good just to attack with a double 20k double striker and to remove something. So this man, as soon as you see him, can remove whatever big threat they put off out after a Zeno, and this man right after can go ahead and remove multiple threats like veggies or something. And the cool thing I do like about this, and a couple things that you have to consider when playing like a Zeno deck, is that you can Overwhelm and then Zeno, and then just put these bad boys back into your deck. That's one play I don't really see too much, and I would love to see a little bit more. And of course, the last 2 cards are going to be Scientist Fu, best Overwhelm card really. In really any deck, and it's best to have that kind of slot. And yes, as we see the visual type of the visual version of this deck, it is kind of all over the place, but because you do draw quite a lot and you don't really want too many dead cards in your hand, it is structured in this way for a reason. And as you play this and as you keep going, you can see why and how it kind of works out. There isn't a sideboard here, but I would imagine that you don't really need 2 Planet M2s. You don't really need Bodyguard Logics in different situations. And you can squeeze in more of different ratios of other cards as you need them, like Dimension Magic, an extra Kaba, an extra foreseeing hit, even extra Zeno if you're focusing on doing that as soon as possible. But just know that yes, you can combo the Zeno for a draw. So always funny to see that reaction, but you will have a dead card in your hand majority of the time. So you really want to just charge the multiples and then use Zeno as soon as possible, or at least in the best way possible. But that is the deck. Let me know what you think. I love Trunks, and I'm sure other people do too. And I'm very happy to have this very small tech showcased and out there now. But I'm sure I'm not the first person to think about it or do it. Either way, he is really good after a Zeno, or just in general, depending on the situation. And overall, it's a very fun deck. I did some work at locals, and I'm happy to take this again to see how it does. I'm sure people are used to seeing it now and know what to expect. Either way, I will see you in the next one. Subscribe, like, dislike, comment. Later.